It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Thank you for coming in. My name is Olu Dare, and I'm the head of faculty at Generis Academy. Can you just let us know where you're joining us from? I can see somebody joining in from Kenya. Good afternoon or good evening. I think Kenya is about 3 hours ahead. Let's know where you're joining us from. Abdul from Ghana, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. How's the weather in Ghana? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, just let me know where you're joining us from. Very cool. The weather is very cool. That's great. That's great. Victoria from Lagos, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Dami from Lagos. Helen from Ibadan, thank you. Thank you very much for joining. I can assure you that you will all have uh, a very, very, very informative and great time today. Um, it's a great privilege for us to be able to present this to you, and also it's a great opportunity for yourselves to invest in yourself. There's no better investment that you can make than to invest in yourself, invest in a skill that will take you through life. And one of such skills is full stack web development, which we are highlighting today. So welcome everybody. As we're talking, there are people still joining us. Should we delay for about 2 or 3 minutes to so that more people can have the opportunity of joining, or should we just go on? Let me know your preference. Um, should we wait for a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and so that we can get more people in, so that they can have the opportunity of sharing in what we're doing here today. Let me know your preference. Do you think we should wait? Do you think we should go on? Oh, someone says we should go on. Okay. Okay. Someone says we should wait. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's let's go on. Let's start with just laying down a few ground rules. Please keep your cameras off unless you want to give us a peep into your office or your homes or wherever you are connecting from. Um, please keep your cameras off. You will have the opportunity to ask any questions, and I stress on any questions that you may want answered concerning Generis Academy or full stack web development. Um, you will have the chance to answer to ask those questions. But if you want to communicate with us, you can use the chat, and we will answer that whatever question you type in on the chat. So keep your mics are muted. Whenever you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. There's a button at the top of your screen that looks like a raised hand, like that. Just tap on that, and it will show us that you want to ask a question, and you will be unmuted to ask your questions. But it will be a lot better if you can wait till the end of the presentation, or when there's a break in the presentation, to ask your questions. Okay, so let's start with the fun part. The fun part is we have prepared a quiz for you. Now, the quiz will pop up on your screen in a minute or in a second of momentarily. Once if you can, once it pops up, if you can answer those questions, um, there are prizes at the end of the session for, whoever gets all those questions right. There are questions related to full stack web development. So, you can even use Google as long as you get the questions right. There are prizes at the end. The prizes range from things like airtime top-ups to getting a free course uh, with Generis Academy. So you can sink your teeth into that as we're starting this. We will be announcing the winners at the end of the session. So sink your teeth into that. Okay, all right. Um, so let's start. I'll just share my screen so we can start. Just give me a second. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, can you see my screen? Just let me know you can see my screen. If you just type in one, or you just type in an emoji to let me know you can see my screen, that's great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. Once again, let me welcome you to this webinar. This webinar is to let you into as much information as possible about full stack web development. But we will start off. Let's start off with the agenda for today. The agenda starts with welcome, the welcome part, which is what we're doing now. And then we go on to talk a little bit about Generis Academy. Um, Abdul, you don't have to answer the the questions on the chat. Just answer it on the poll thing. Just click the correct answers and that will transmit down to us. We know who you are, so don't worry, we will know what you have. We will see what you have answered on the poll, on the quiz. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about Generis Academy, and then we will go into the presentation proper about full stack web development. We'll then talk about market trends. We will analyze the market, and then we'll go straight to the masterclass. Immediately after the masterclass, we will have a question and answer session. Then we will talk about the dates, the fees, the discounts, and contact people. Then we'll have a general question and answer, and then we will end the session. We'll try not to keep you for too long. Okay. So let's start. Generis Academy, we are a digital platform and we specialize in providing comprehensive and accessible training solutions for individuals that are seeking to enhance their skills and knowledge in the field of information technology. We provide courses, specialized courses, ranging from the most basic courses to the most advanced courses. We go from things like HTML, we go from things like, how to use a computer, teaching you about, teaching you how to do Microsoft Word, and we go straight into, our range includes things like programming, coding, project management, business analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Python, the whole range of courses. We deliver our courses online, and we pride ourselves in having expert tutors. We have tutors who are, experts in their fields, who have joined us to be able to deliver these courses to you. Now, when you join us, like I said, we have a very diverse course offering. We offer an extensive catalog, and our domains include things like cybersecurity, data science, networking, and so on. We also offer within these courses certification programs with recognized bodies that are recognized all over the world, such as the PMI, the Project Management Institute, such as Cisco, such as CompTIA, and so on and so forth. So we offer quite a wide range of certification programs. We also give you a certificate of completion for any course in addition to your certification program. Learning formats are flexible. We deliver our courses online and they are live and instructor led. But after the courses, you can also have access to the video recording of the courses. The hands-on labs are also live, and you also get real-world projects together with your courses. Our learning platform is interactive, and when you sign up with us, you get access to a learning platform for a minimum of 12 months. It doesn't matter whether your course lasts a week or 12 weeks or 3 months, you get access to that platform for 12 months. And during this time, obviously you will probably be in employment, or you would be working in the real world. You can always come back to interact with lecturers, to interact with course mates, to interact with alumni, and then you would have access to recorded lectures. You'll have access to a wide range of resources to help you in your journey. We also offer career services. Career services meaning that we would help you to enhance your LinkedIn profile. We would give you advice on employment, where to look, where to apply to. We would help you to build your CV, and we would also train you on how to answer questions on during interviews. Now, we are accessible globally, and it doesn't matter wherever you are in the world, you will have access to everything that we offer. Now, this is um, our contact details. Website is generis.academy, and you can find us on all social media platforms. It's quite easy. Our handle is quite easy. It's Generis Academy for Facebook, for LinkedIn, for Twitter, for YouTube, for Instagram. Our email is info@generisacademy. And whenever you follow us on social media, as long as you let us know that you're following us, whenever you want to do any course with us, you get an automatic 5% discount on any of the courses. Again, these are telephone numbers. If you want to write them down now, or if you're not able to write them down, I will still display the telephone numbers at the end of the webinar. Okay, so who is a full stack web developer? A full stack web developer is a web developer, obviously, who specializes in working with both front and back end of an application. And what do I mean by an application? An application is a website. An application could be a web-based piece of software. Um, Full stack web developers use full stack technologies to create things like mobile apps, like chatbots, like transactional websites. Um, there is in today's world, today's market, there is a plethora of web development tools, and this makes the job of a coder easier. So, and what we do with this course is we take you through that journey of mastering these tools, of mastering these techniques, opening your eyes to new innovations. For example, lately there's been a rush to using artificial intelligence. You'll be glad to know that this is an intrinsic part of this course that we're offering. Now, why would you want to choose a career as a full stack web developer? It's quite simple to learn, believe it or not. It's not as difficult as some people may, make it out to be. I think that really depends on who's teaching you. And it's a good thing that we have an expert tutor. Not only an expert tutor, she's skilled in the field of very skilled in the in the field of full stack web development. So she actually delivers the lecture in such a way that it makes it quite easy for you to grasp. The learning curve is not steep. Uh, and when you learn full stack web development, when you're a full stack web developer, you have the benefit of mastering a lot of skills. There are people who are full stack web developers who are very skilled in coding languages like Ruby, Python, Node.js, PHP, MySQL, JSON, CSS, Ajax, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. Um, you are when you're a full stack web developer, you are able to adapt creatively, and that is because you have mastered a lot of skills to enable you to do that. You also get a chance to participate in game-changing projects. There's no denying the fact that the web is here to stay. Everything that you see around you, as far as technology is concerned, is quite dependent on the web. So you being a full stack web developer gives you an opportunity or a chance to participate in these projects. The demand for full stack developers is extremely high. Um, Another, benefit of being a full stack developer is that you get a high paying job. The salary of a full stack developer is quite high compared to some of the other sectors of information technology. A full stack web developer is dependent on fewer people because of the skills that you will gain during the course. And that also opens you up to a lot of opportunities within the field of information technology. Um, Now, you are able to continuously upskill yourself in the sense that can you just give me a second? Okay, yes. Upskill yourself in the sense that you have a wide range of skills already, and you are open to new technology, and you're exposed to new technology all the time. So it's quite easy for you to upskill yourself. And then you have increased productivity and efficiency. Those are some of the benefits of being a full stack developer. Now, what's the market been like for full stack web development? Over the last few years, I will say over the last 3 or 4 years, there's been an average of a 20% year-on-year job growth in full stack web development. In other words, what that means is that the demand for full stack developers has grown 20% year on year for the last 3 to 4 years. So that actually assures you that finding a job or using your skills after you have learned the skill shouldn't be a problem. So what do full stack web developers earn? Okay, let's look at salaries of full stack web developers, around the world. In Canada, you will be able to earn an average of 86,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, the average pay for a full stack web developer is 102,000. Wow. $102,000. In the UK, the average pay is 48,000 to 50,000 pounds sterling. In Germany, it's 60,000 euros. In India, it's 623,000 rupees. And in Australia, it's 105,000. The good thing about being a full stack web developer is that they are in demand all over the world. And I know for a fact that when it comes to getting a job abroad or traveling abroad, there is a preference that a lot of countries give to developers when it comes to issuing visas, but that's another topic on its own. So, and then again, there is also the opportunity to work remotely. You can be in your bedroom or you can be in your sitting room, sign on, and you're working. That's the kind of world that we live in today. So I won't go too in depth into this because the expert is waiting to actually give you more information and take you through the journey of becoming a full stack web developer. So I would our tutor who is going to take you through and who is going to take this course. Her name is Goodness Abarugo. Those of you in the industry may have heard of her name before because she's quite prominent in the industry. She's a skilled developer and she has been tutoring in web development for over 6 years. She's also experienced in DevOps engineering, database management. She holds a Master of Science Information and Telecommunications Engineering from the University of Port Harcourt and a Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology from the Federal University of Technology in Owerri in Nigeria. She's very proficient in a lot of programming languages, especially where it comes to do with the webs like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, databases like MySQL, uh, Laravel, WordPress, Shopify, you name it. She's done it. She has developed and hosted a lot of e-commerce applications, fintech applications, edtech applications, and she has taught at various levels, ranging from children. That's the interesting thing. She has taught children from about the age of 12 to she has taught up to training executives in big companies. That is the range of her skills. So we are quite lucky to have her with us and to be able to deliver this course to those who sign up to the course. I would, without any other delay, hand you over to Goodness. Goodness, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Goodness? We can't hear you yet. Can you unmute yourself, Goodness? Hello, goodness. Can you hear me? I can see you're trying to unmute yourself, but yes,
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you now. Great. Okay, so I will hand you over to goodness now. So over to you, goodness.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's masterclass in full stack web development. Just give me a second and I'll get my screen up. So, do you have my slides?
Do you want me to bring your slides up?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll just get them. If you just give me a second. Okay. There we go. Can everybody see that?
It's coming up, I guess. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so welcome again, everyone. I'm Goodness. I'm a full stack web developer, and I've been at this for more than 6 to 7 years now. So today, I've come to inspire you. I've come to take you on a journey to let you know what it took me to get to where I am today and to encourage you to join me on this train. All right, so I can get to the next slide. Okay, the next slide, please.
Which one? The transformative journey?
In the next one after this. Okay. All right. So when we talk about full stack web development, right? It's a very big it has a very wide landscape. Okay, very wide, and it started somewhere. That I'm a web developer today means I had to trace the history of what I'm doing right now. That's why we are going to begin with the evolution of the web. So if I have my, okay, hold please, just hold on. Just stay where you are. Okay, so the when they boomed, when the World Wide Web boom started, when people in the olden days couldn't really get information across to different people in remote areas, it started with the fax. And then after fax came the World Wide Web. And it started very pretty basic, right? It started with like a text interface where you could put up some text and have some people read information from different parts of the world. And then it extended beyond that to include the possibility to respond or speak on those texts that you see on the World Wide Web. And over time, it graduated from just a text-based platform, something that had to do with just text, to something transformative, to what we have today. You could deal with pictures, you could deal with videos, you could deal with a lot of things. So you would rightly say that anyone who has anything to do with the web or the World Wide Web before now focused more on the text parts of this, right? But as time went on, we moved beyond that to full stack web development. Now, it's a term, it's broad, but in summary, it means when you come to any website or you come to any web application, there are two sides. There is a side you see, there is a side you do not see. The part you see is called the client side. The part you don't see is called the server end. Okay? In full stack web development, you handle both what the clients see and what they do not see. Meaning that full stack web development captures two main aspects of web development, the front end web development and the back end web development, right? So let's look at the key technologies that make this up. In full stack web development, we have lots of languages that you use. You have lots of frameworks that you use, and you have a range of tools. But here we've picked the best, we've picked the ones that are in demand, and those are the ones we're going to be focusing on, right? So here at Generis Academy, we have picked out languages like JavaScript, Python, PHP. These, from research, are the languages that most people use to build applications on the World Wide Web. Now, we've not made mention of HTML, CSS, which forms an integral part of the languages, but most people do not see them as full programming languages. That's why someone who has done just a very basic front-end web development, so just pure HTML and CSS, when they talk about being programmers, you see people scoff. It's not like these are not programming language, but in the real aspect, in the real sense of programming, it's a bit tricky to call them programming languages. However, for the web, for the World Wide Web, they are the foundation, they are the basics, the structure. So without them, you really don't have a web app running. You don't have a website running. Okay. Now, beyond these languages, there are frameworks. What are frameworks? So frameworks are they are like already made structures, right? That you can build upon. So let's say you are a building constructor or a building engineer, as the case may be, and you get onto a site and you've seen buildings around that area and you see what the buildings there look like. Let's say there are some peculiarities with our environment and you instead of starting from the ground up, you could borrow from what you're seeing there already, right? You could borrow from what the foundation would look like, and then you build on it. It would save you time, it would save you resources. Rather than fail, try again, fail. You're learning from the mistakes, the failures, and the successes of others. So that's what frameworks are all about. Where we have JavaScript, we have frameworks, different approaches to building using JavaScript. That's where we have Vue.js, we have React.js, we have AngularJS. These are frameworks, right, that you could use to build applications using JavaScript. We have the Django. The Django is another that you could also use for Python. And for PHP, we have Laravel, which is a framework you could use for PHP, which means there have been codes that are written that should almost always be in your web app. So it's already been written for you and you build from there. Why are they there? Because they must always be in every application you build. That's what frameworks are about. Now, the tools we use, there are a lot of them. We have some integrated development environments, right? They're integrated development environments, integrated in the sense that they allow you to work with different tools on the same platform. Your the database aspect of your work, the front end part of your work, the back end part of your work. You can do all of them in that environment. That's why it's called an integrated development environment. So there are a lot, but the one that we use, which we can attest to, is the Visual Studio Code made by Microsoft, which is quite versatile, allows a lot of extensions, and gives you the leverage to use different languages and improve your productivity. Another tool in full stack web development is the Git. So it's like GitHub, if you've heard of GitHub, is a collaboration platform, right? So the simple way to explain it to someone who is getting into tech or who is getting into this is to say, it helps you keep track of the versions of your applications of your applications as you work, which means I can start working on a project today and I build the home page and I save it, right? Not just on my computer, but in the cloud. I save it. I know that I have saved it. But maybe I'm working with someone else. I know that I did this work up to this point. I've saved it here. Wherever I can be in the whole world, I could come back to that level at that point where I was working. Say tomorrow I come back and I build on the home page and somehow something goes wrong with my code, right? By the time I come back and I'm not able to easily trace what has gone wrong, I can easily revert back to home page, which was where my application was stable. So it helps you keep track of versions, it helps you revisit versions, it helps you revise versions. But more importantly, wherever you may be, anywhere in the world, you can work on your application provided it's stored, the version control system is stored in the cloud. Now I'll talk about Docker. Docker is a bit more advanced, but what it means is that it's like a container. So when you build, we're talking about building a house here. So when the house we are talking about that had a framework, let's say that plan and that framework for that building is peculiar to that environment, right? Which means if you take that same plan to somewhere else, it might not work. The World Wide Web is filled with lots of, there are different platforms that people use, right? Different devices that people use. But these today in full stack web development, you want to build an app that works everywhere, which means you build it to work for this particular environment and you want to be able to run it even when you get to another environment, right? It works for environment A, naturally it wouldn't work for environment B. So with Docker, you make sure that everything you're going to simulate the environment in which this application was built. You simulate it and carry it in a container to anywhere. So no matter where you run that application, it works fine. So that's what Docker does for you. So can we go to the next page? Please, if you're with me and you can understand what I'm saying and it's simple and clear enough, can you give me a thumbs up and just send a message in the chat so I know you're following? All right, thank you. Okay. All right. So now that we have understood some of the tools that we need for web development, full stack, let's now break it down. What is front-end web development? I'd say the front end is the client side, right? So now that you're looking at your web browser or your phone or the Teams app, whatever device or platform you're using, right? What you see is the client side. It's built specially for you to see. Whatever experience you get using it was built specially for you to have, right? That's the front end. Now, in front end web development, you see lots of designs, responsive designs, responsive in the sense that it should respond to whatever device you're using. interactive, such that it's when you click on this and when you drag down on that, you can see, oh, the chaser, you can't hear me. Okay, I'll try to be louder. Try to be. The chaser, can you hear me better now? Is the volume okay? Is it better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so I'll just go ahead. If it faints at any time, please let me know. So can you go to the next slide? Okay. Now, what are the basics of front-end web development? So here, that's when we talk about the HTML, right? Remember when I said that um, some people don't see HTML as a programming language, but it's very important in the web. Without it, there is no web development actually. Or what does it do? It provides the structure. It provides the structure on which you build your application. Let me see. Um, I don't know if this is better. The volume. I think some people can't hear me. They can't quite hear me.
Um,
Mm.
I think they can hear you. I don't see anybody complaining. If you just want to raise your voice a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. So beyond HTML, which gives you the structure, let's leave JavaScript out from here and let's go to CSS. So when you have the HTML is like the building blocks, right? So you build up walls and the walls, the foundation and the walls, everything standing tall, but it's not beautiful, doesn't look good, doesn't appeal to anyone. That's what the CSS does. So with CSS, you try to beautify the structure, you make it appealing, right? And it is with CSS that you get that um, UI, the user interface to pop, as the case may be. People call it, say you create a website and you want it to pop. Then we'll come to JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is an interesting language. These days, it's now taken recognized as a programming language. Before now, it was just seen as a scripting language, right? Which means you just use it to write some small things to control one or two documents or one or two aspects of your code, right? On the front end, that's exactly what it does. In pure front end, what it does is to add some interactivity to your website. Maybe you click on a button and the button zooms in and stuff like that. Those user experience things that you see when you visit any website. The site flows, when you open it slides down. All those are activated by JavaScript. Okay, makes your website dynamic. Now, CSS and JavaScript join forces to give you a responsive design, a design that adapts to different devices, right? And makes your website or your web application look good across devices. The next slide, please. All right. Now let's leave the front end. Let's leave the front end, yeah, and let's come to the back end. When you come to a website and you've seen the website, you can read text, you can flip through the website and see what's going on there. But what actually happens, the main thing that happens on that website, it's happening at the back end. You can't see it. That is the back end development, right? It's the part where you cannot see. You want to register on a website, you want to register on a web application, you just go open the form. The form is client side, of course, it's front end, and then you put in all those details and then you hit your submit button. Then there are a series of things that happens before you're being taken to whatever page you want to see. That thing is happening at the back end of that website. Now, If a front-end web developer, his or her duty stops at making you see what you just need to see the form, you should see the button, but that's where his job description ends, right? If a back-end developer builds on what the front end has given you and makes it work. So you have the form and then the button that does nothing. And then the back end developer goes to that button. This button is supposed to do something. And then he has his codes put together to make sure that when you put in the wrong details, you're prompted that they are wrong. You put in the right details, you're taken to the right place. That's the duty of the back end developer. Okay. He also has to do with a lot of databases. So if you've had someone say I'm a database administrator, I'm a database engineer, well, a backend developer needs some of those skills. Remember, we are talking full stack. So we'll get to the point where we marry the front end and the back end to get the full stack developer. Let's go to the next slide, sir. Please let me know if you're with me and give me a thumbs up or send me a message in the chat. Okay, thank you. So let's go to the back end. And remember, when I say back end power, I'm not in any way trying to say that the front end people aren't powerful enough. Well, of course, without the front end engineer, nobody knows what the back end person is doing. Yeah. So, but the back end provides power, right, to the front end. And how does it do that? It does that in three important stages, right? It uses different programming languages to make the front end work. Now, we mentioned some languages which are key technologies when we started this class. We talked about JavaScript, we talked about Python, we talked about PHP, right? Now, those languages are usually put to work at the back end. Yeah, they are put to work at the back end. For us here, we use more of JavaScript. Why? Because if you go on the internet or go to developer platforms, you notice that more than 65 to 70% of organizations use JavaScript today. Why do they do that? Well, they use JavaScript because it has a very low learning curve. The learning curve is not steep. It's more powerful than you can imagine. And well, you don't need to compile JavaScript. For those of us who are not coming from the programming, don't have a programming background, in compiling, you need lots of resources. You need lots of compute power to compute some code, and you have some lag time, you have some delays for codes that you have to compile, right? So the resources that you naturally use for other programming languages, they take them out when it comes to JavaScript. JavaScript can run on the web. It can just run. Almost all browsers today have the JavaScript library built into it such that you just write JavaScript code, go to your browser, and it's running. No worries, right? And it's powerful. It's more powerful than we can imagine. So before, it used to be just a front end thing for scripting and all, but now with platforms, with frameworks like the Node.js, Express.js, JavaScript can now be used as a full-fledged programming language, writing code from scratch to finish. In fact, Candy Crush, I think Candy Crush is a game that you can build with JavaScript from the ground up. So if you can build, those who play Candy Crush a lot, you know that any language that can build that application from start to finish is powerful enough to build any application. So that's why here at Generis, we are sticking with JavaScript, though we have some Python abilities, some PHP abilities, but we are sticking with this. All right, so beyond JavaScript, we've talked about the database. For the databases, you could use relational databases, non-relational databases, right? For relational databases, you have tables that are structured very well for them to work. In non-relational databases, you have something like NoSQL, for instance. I use Firebase a lot. Firebase is a database provided by Google. Now, Firebase is a NoSQL database, which means it doesn't have tables for instance, I want to create a user table, for instance, and I want their name, I want to have on that table name, address, phone number, right? It means that those fields must be there and they must be structured that exactly way. But with NoSQL, I can actually have a table that contains different things. In NoSQL and relational databases, my tables must be the same all the time, my fields the same. But in NoSQL, you have the flexibility to manage data however you want it, right? So depending on your project, you want to know what works best for you. In backend, we also have RESTful APIs. They are like some things that some engine rooms that store data and wait for others to come call them, right? Those storerooms are like some codes of data backed up by codes and authentications that, okay, if you have the right key, you can get the right data, right? If you don't have the right key, you cannot get the data. You yourself as a backend developer, some of them specialize in writing these application programming interfaces, that's the APIs, right? For you to get data to work on. So let me give you an example. When you have fintech apps, for instance, financial technology applications, yeah, and they tell you that you can pay using this platform or that platform. Let's say Paystack, for instance, that works in Nigeria, right? So for Paystack, they have their API. There they have different data, lots and lots of data that they've kept that you can only access if you have the authorization to, right? They have arranged it in such a way that when you ask for it in a particular way, you get it that way, right? That's what the RESTful APIs are about. Right? It's not just your database in your application. The application is yours, and then your database is there, and then you can quickly pull data from there. No, it works the other way. In RESTful APIs, you don't have the data; it doesn't belong to you. You just want to borrow from someone, right? And there are modalities for that. So that's an aspect of back-end development. Then we talk about the security aspect of back-end, because back-end is really tricky. It's very sensitive. You have a lot of data going on there. You should always ensure you have the security best practices. You secure data, encrypt data when necessary. Now, beyond just using databases, which is this third aspect, database design, you need to know how to make your database work for you. So some sites are really slow, not always because of the database design, but let's say 40 to 50% of the time, some websites are really slow because those who designed their databases did not do a nice work. So these three parts are the parts you need to combine together to get real back-end power. So let's go to the next slide. Fine. Okay, now that we've talked about what the front end is about, what the back end is about, the full stack person is the person in the middle, yeah? You have the front end ability, you have the back end ability, you have the key to all the doors. There's no door that anyone can shut, right? And say you can't get there. If it has to do with front end, you can do it. Back end, you can do it. Anyhow they want it, you can give it to them. So, meaning that you should know how to build client-side applications and then know how to manage the back end as well. That's what full stack web development is all about. If you go on Google, you could search a front-end web developer, you could search back-end web developer, you could also look for full stack. So you see that there is more importance attached to the full stack person because he's like or she's like an asset to any organization. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. All right. So as I'm talking, it looks like okay, we are talking and talking and talking a lot, right? But Um, I for one, it took me time, over years of learning, many years of learning, many years of constant practice. I'm not the one sharing the screen, but um, by the end of this class, I might just drop links to these sites, which are some of the sites are built independently. I think about three of them independently, and another I had to build with different things, right? Some are built strictly on JavaScript and the JavaScript framework. Some of them built solely using PHP. Some of them use Python, and some of them have artificial intelligence embedded in them. So I want to say this. We'll get to that point where it looks like learning IT skills these days is becoming, um, it's almost like a lot of people who understand the AI space or who seem to understand the artificial intelligence space are asking themselves, do I really need to go learn anything today? All right, let's calm down. By the end of this masterclass, I'll explain that. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so beyond just being a full stack web developer, you need to be on your toes, because this space changes really, really fast. It changes in a twinkling of an eye. It happened to me. So I took a break, 1 year, 2 years. By the time I came back, what I knew wasn't what was happening anymore. So that was when I understood that I needed to be on my toes in this space, right? The good thing about it is that if you get the right foundation, then when the train moves, even if you are lagging by a day or two, you can catch up easily, you can catch up quickly. Discover and explore different career paths. A full stack web developer, even inside the full stack web developer, you can carve a niche for yourself depending on what you see is doing well. Unlike the people who are stuck with either front end or back end, you're just there. It's either front end or nothing, or it's either back end or nothing. But when it comes to full stack, there's just a wide range of skills you must acquire. That's by the time you're done, you can choose for yourself what you want to um work more on, right? And embrace continuous learning. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So I want to come to this point now. Where are we headed, right? In this whole IT technology, everything. Where are we going? As in, is this what's it, right? Decentralized web, where data isn't put in a central place anymore. It's not just about the internet. It's not just about the world wide web where everybody goes to pack their stuff. Your web app is there, your web applications, your websites, and different files you'd want to share. We're talking about decentralized web, where nobody has control over what happens, right? Talk about blockchain technologies, which is beyond what we have today. Whatever we do today is centralized. Let's look at the financial industry. We have banks. There's the system, is an ecosystem. It's managed, it's regulated. We are coming to a place where people are building their own niche, their own web. So you can only just link to the web that these different people have created, although very transparent. This technology, blockchain and the rest of them, cannot thrive without the web. The current web that we see today, the full stack web developer is the person who would take an application from a centralized place and bring it into the decentralized and technical space. The front end person can get the thing, the designs and all. A full stack web developer knows how to decouple systems, because we write code at the back end that manages what happens at the front. Internet of Things, where we have smart buildings, smart offices, smart cities today. Now, I will remind you that most of these smart connections have their interfaces on the web. You might see it as a mobile app, but when we get to the last point there, WebAssembly, you see that most of them are really just web applications that have been made native. They are full stack web applications that are built, but have been built in such a way that they mimic a mobile application. They could even ask you to install it, and you think it's a full-fledged web application, but it was a full stack web application built and made native as a PWA. Now, to the part of artificial intelligence. When ChatGPT came out, I said, okay, I think they said this stuff is coming to take my job away from me, right? So I went to ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, I have this project. I want to write code on this project, this app, and I want to get it working within let's say within the next 1 week, something very simple. ChatGPT says, okay, we can do that. And then I said, okay, go ahead, right? Because it says, well, you need to go do your research. I said, what? You're supposed to take my job. You're supposed to do this work for me, right? So it says, no, well, you're supposed to go do some research, understand your audience. Then you need to gather some data. I can't do that for you. You need to do this, you need to do that. And then when you're done, you come back to me. I'll just give you some kind of structure, and it's your duty to build your app. I'm like, okay. I said, okay, that's fine. And then after some time, I said, okay, since it wants information from me, I'll get some data and I'll come back. I came back to ChatGPT and I said, okay, now I have data. This is my target audience. This is what my app is about. And can we go on? I says, oh, sure, we can. So this what it asked me. And well, tell me, what tech stack would you rather use? Like, you're supposed to decide that, aren't you? Says, no, I can't. These are the options. So it's you to make the right choice. I said, you just come up with the best option, and it does. It says you need to choose this stack because it's this. And I'm like, okay, I understand your point, but I don't think this stack is right because you need to use this. It says, oh yeah, apologies, I'm sorry, you're right. I said, okay. And then I say, okay, no, I think I was wrong. Maybe yours was right. Say, yes, apologies, you're right. I'm like, no, this is not this. No. It doesn't make sense. Is this what's supposed to take my job away from me? You know? And then I left it. At the point I was doing some machine learning, some apps I needed to put some machine learning abilities into. And I come back to ChatGPT and I say, please help me here. I'm just learning this and whole machine learning stuff. Help me out. And it says, okay, I say, give me this code for this. It says, you need to tell me exactly what you want, how you want it. I'm like, which means if I don't even know what I'm doing, this whole AI thing can't help me. It's smart, but it's smart only when you give it context. And then sometimes along the line, it loses context completely. And I remember I was almost frustrated because I continued depending on whatever code it was churning out, and the code wasn't working. And when I came back, it says I said there's an error. This is the error I'm getting. It says, okay, I'll try to solve that. It goes back and it says, do well, you'd rather do it this way. And I did that. I came back and then I pinched myself. I sat down and I said, for God's sake, I'm a programmer, right? So I looked at the code and I saw that just a very tiny thing made the entire code not to work. ChatGPT couldn't figure that out. Now tell me, someone who cannot program, who doesn't understand anything, tell me how exactly is AI supposed to help you so much? And that is why if you want to get into web, do full stack. Know what's happening at the front, know what's happening at the back, own it. Then use AI as a productivity tool, right? It could help you. You tell it what code to write, but you know what you want it to write. You just don't want to go out typing out the code. It could give you suggestions on how to make it better, but when it's failing, you know. You won't spend hours like someone. You don't have um you don't have knowledge of what you want. Well, AI wouldn't help you so much. Yeah. So that is why I myself struggle with this for a long time. And that's why whatever class I want to handle, I let them understand that as humans, you build your capacity in yourself, build the skill and own it. AI is not going to take your job per se. It's only going to make you a better person at what you do. So seize this opportunity. The train is moving fast. I mean, the AI is even making it so when you hear that AI is taking people's job, this is what's happening. I'm a full stack web developer. I could have completed this job in 5 months, but because I know what I want to do, I ask AI to please churn this code, make it very fast, give it to me, and it gives it to me in 5 minutes. And I'm able to deliver that project in a month. And while I'm doing that project, I'm asking ChatGPT, this is what it should be. What do you think would be the alternative way? How could I make this better? It makes suggestions. I put my brain to work, and then I come up with an application that is more superior than what I would have done on my own. That is what's pushing the IT world. That's what's pushing it. It's not the AI itself, but the people who know what they are doing, who are leveraging on the AI. So whatever the case may be, whatever course you choose to go into, if you want to go into full stack, take your time, learn it well, get the concepts right, get the foundation solid, and then go use AI to make your work better. So let's go to the next slide. All right, so I think that's it. That's all I have to tell you for now. Remember that as a full stack web developer, you have the key to every door, right? The front, the back, interaction with other companies, which is the RESTful API, the third party. Your app can talk to any other person. And when you're in an organization, you're almost indispensable as long as you do your work or you do your job well. So thank you, everyone. And I'm open to questions.
Okay, can I be the first one to ask a question, please?
Yes, please.
Okay. You mentioned briefly about AI. As part of
Yeah.
this course, would you be
Hmm.
touching on how to use, AI to enhance, whatever work that one is doing in the real world?
Yeah, sure. So as a matter of fact, some of the third party APIs will be using might be AI APIs, right? And then for the large language models like the ChatGPT and the rest of them, Gemini and all, of course, we would use that in class to um, buttress on what I just said and practically see how AI can either make or mar a developer, right? And make productivity better.
Okay, thank you for that. If anybody else has any questions, please just raise your hand and we will unmute you so that you can ask your questions. So if there are any other questions, Goodness is ready and willing to answer your questions. Please just raise your hands and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Any questions? Do you want us to move on? Any questions regarding what you have heard? Okay, Victoria says, when will the course start? This course is scheduled to start on the 8th of June. The 8th of June. Even though, we're going to come to that in a minute, I'll give you details about that in a minute, but it's scheduled to start on the 8th of June. Any other questions? Please type it in the chat or raise your hands. There is a hand button at the top of your screen, I believe. Just raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can ask your questions. Okay, somebody's typing something. I guess they're shy. They don't want to talk. They'll prefer to type it. Okay. Can you see that question?
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Please, what does it take to start a career
Sorry,
as a
goodness,
full
before you answer that question, there's somebody who says, I would like to ask a question, but my mic is still muted. Please raise your hands so that I'll know who you are and I can unmute you. Okay, Jean-Jacques. Okay, I'll find you and unmute you. So if you want to answer the first question, goodness, please.
Okay. All right, so Daniel, he said, what does it take to start a career as a full stack developer? Systems spec, okay, financial implications and more. So I'll be frank here, right? I'll be really frank. Now, a full stack web development or full stack developer, now there are two different things, right? A full stack developer building different other types of applications. But here we are talking about full stack web development, right? Building applications that run on the web. Could be mobile apps, could be what, but whatever they are, they have some affiliation or relationship with the web. The first thing you need, to be frank, is determination. Well, programming can be boring. It can be really, really boring. When I started off programming, I went to for a diploma course. I was supposed to learn computer appreciation. So I went there, and after some time, we did some graphics design and all. And then they taught me Quick Basic. Quick Basic is like one of the very simple programming languages of those days, right? Quick Basic. And guess what? I could create a calculator by code. I'm like, wow, really? That was when my interest was piqued. And then I continued building on that because I felt I could create solutions by writing code. But over the years, I needed a lot of tenacity. You would fail a lot, you would succeed a lot, but you will only succeed when you don't let those failures hold you down. So you need constant practice because once you leave coding, somehow it leaves you. Yeah, but if you get your foundations right, like I said, you can always pick up the pieces from wherever you wake up, right? So that is the first thing you need, some determination, some tenacity. And then two, you need a fairly modern computer if if that's what you mean by system spec. At least a computer with 4 to 8 gig RAM, 256 gigabyte hard disk or more, um, at least whether Intel or AMD, whatever processor it is, but a basic system you can start off at any point with any kind of computer anyway. Because as long as you can get to the internet, there are also some tools on the internet that you can use to write and execute your code. Financials, I think um, our director will let us know about the financial implications, but I think it's really affordable. It's not
Um,
something that will
yeah,
break the bank.
I will go into that immediately after.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
David, did I
So
answer your question? Or Daniel, rather. Daniel, did I answer your question? A
yes,
thumbs up would do, or a
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Says yes.
Okay. All right.
That's
All
fine.
right. Um,
Okay, Jean
any other?
Jean-Jacques. I hope I pronounce your name well. You can unmute yourself now, Jean-Jacques, and ask your
Okay,
question.
okay.
I'm sorry, did I
You can
pronounce
ask
your
my.
name properly?
Oh yes, you did.
Oh, great, great.
Um, I
Uh,
want to ask a
okay.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is Node is JavaScript and Node.js the same thing?
I
If
didn't get that.
so, can you hear me?
Not very clearly. So, well, go ahead. I'll try.
Um, is JavaScript and Node.js the same thing?
Oh,
Oh, okay. All right. So you could say they're the same thing, but not quite. But Node.js works with JavaScript, or JavaScript works with Node.js, however you'd put it. So JavaScript was seen as a scripting language before now, just a language you'd see used to write some little code to enhance some things on the website. Now it works as a full-fledged back-end programming language made possible, right, by Node.js. So Node.js would work like something that automatically compiles JavaScript code. Remember, we said we don't necessarily have to compile JavaScript, right, because it runs on the web. But Node.js makes it possible for JavaScript to work like Python, to work like Java. Do you understand?
I
Uh-huh.
see.
So, uh-huh. So that's the simplest way to explain that.
I see. So if I was to code in Node.js, I would just use a normal JavaScript script.
What did you say?
If I was to code in Node.js, what would I need to do that?
If you wanted to specialize in Node.js, is that what you
If I
said?
was if I was to code in Node.js, what
Okay.
would I use?
Well, let's say you would download Node.js. Node.js is a package. Okay, it's a package. You download Node.js, but ultimately you would program in JavaScript, any version of JavaScript.
I see.
Does it make
Thank you
sense?
for
Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Thank you for answering my question.
Mhm.
thank you very much, Jean-Jacques. Mustafa Fatih, you're unmuted. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Mustafa Fatih, unmute
Okay,
yourself and ask your question. Oh,
I
good.
see the question.
Oh,
Okay, what are the levels of
He's
or
on. He's on
degrees?
now. He's on now.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
Go ahead, Mustafa.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was asking, what levels or degrees you need, to start going for full stack development.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so well, for us here, you don't really any background works, right? Any background works. You just need a hunger to create digital solutions, right? Just that critical analytic mindset and a passion to create applications. Anybody could actually delve into tech. It doesn't matter what you did in the university, it doesn't matter what your degree is. In fact, most programmers today never went to college or so, so you just need a passion and you'll be fine.
So will it really help when you are studying database management to go for full stack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, sure. It's real. It's real. Remember that full stack has the database aspect attached to it. So the more skilled in database you are, the better for you, right? Because
Okay.
most of the time, like I said, some applications lag because nobody manages the people who built it didn't manage the database well. If you're into database management, the whole indexing, normalization, if you get what I'm saying, all of that when you bring that skill into full stack, then you build an application that is excellent.
Thank you. I started studying that. I'm in it.
Ah, okay. All right. Any other question?
You have any? If you have a question, just raise your hand, and I will unmute you. Okay. If there are no other questions, okay. I think Mustafa is typing something again. You're still unmuted, Mustafa. So if you want to mute your mic and ask your question again.
Okay, Dami seems to be typing too. Abdul seems to be typing. If you can talk, you can please indicate so that you'll be unmuted.
Oh, thank you, Mustafa. That's very
you.
nice of you.
Thanks.
Okay, if there are no other questions, then we will move on. Thank you very much for staying with us so far. I will take over now and continue with some of the questions that some of you have asked about the course. Like I said earlier on, when you enroll with us, we don't just herd you into a class and start teaching you whether you get it or not. It's our joy and it's our objective for you to pass through us and become great at what you do so that we can look back and say, oh, that person learned what they're great at from Generis Academy. As a matter of fact, we are hoping that someday we will have our own Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. One of our alumni will go on to make their mark in the world. So what we do when you come to us is, like I said, we give you that access to all the information that you need and more for 12 months. Whether the course is for 1 week or for 6 weeks or for 3 months, it doesn't matter. You can always go and come back. Imagine a scenario where you're walking and you've tried Chat GPT. It hasn't worked for you, and you're looking for experienced people to discuss an issue with. You can always come back to the learning management system within where what that's a system you will get access to once you register with us. You can always come in there and interact with lecturers, with students, with alumni, and ask your questions. And I'm pretty certain that that community in itself is enough to answer your questions. You'll also get access to workbooks, to videos, to exercises, and so on and so forth. Like I said, we will support you throughout your journey. We will mentor you. We have some of our alumni who come in from time to time to hold webinars with you and speak with you about what's going on in the real world. We have industry experts who we will bring in from time to time during your course to speak with you, to mentor you along this journey. And we will also help you at the end of your course to prepare for interviews, to apply for jobs, in some cases to even give references. And you will also get a certificate of completion at the end of the course. Now, the course starts. Somebody asked earlier on when the course itself starts. The course starts on the 8th of June. That's the first cohort. The second cohort starts on the 15th of June, then the 22nd of June, and the 29th of June. The first cohort starts on the 8th of June of this year. Now, if you are interested, again, we have our numbers at the bottom that you can either text us or send us a message or even call us if you want. Now, I said at the beginning of this webinar that we have a special treat for all of you that are attending. I do apologize about the poll. It looks like the quiz that popped up didn't work properly, but it doesn't matter. I have, a big prize for you guys here. Now, the cost of, as you will know, this course is quite expansive. You're learning so many skills in one, and it will be economically advantageous to us as an organization to actually break it down and sell it to you piece by piece. Obviously, we will make more money like that, but that's not our own objective. We don't do things like that. We're giving everything to you in one go. And if you look around and see how much this kind of course will cost you, you will agree with me that it's a hefty sum, but there's no sum that's hefty enough to invest in yourself, to invest in a skill that will take you places in the future. Now, what we're offering you today for attending this webinar is a whopping 40% off the normal cost of the course. The normal cost of the course, if you are living, of the full course, if you are living in Nigeria, is 250,000 naira. Now we have reduced that. We're taking 40% off that to 150,000. If you're living in the United Kingdom or the EU, the normal cost is 495 pounds. We're taking 40% off that and reducing it to 297. And if you're living in any other part of the world, any other part of Africa or US or any other part of the world, the normal cost of the course is $595, but we are taking 40% off, and you can do the course for $360. In addition to this, we're also giving you the opportunity, if you cannot afford the full cost of the course, to pay by installments. And what we mean by that is you can pay in 3 equal installments. If you're interested in doing that, let us know. But this offer would only last till tomorrow. It only lasts for 24 hours. So if you are interested in getting into this course and also getting the 40% off and also paying in installments, please send a message to any of the numbers listed below. Our main number is +234. Our main number is +234 812-220-2650. Let me repeat again. You're getting 40% off. You're getting the opportunity to pay in installments. I don't think there can be an offer that is that good for this kind of course and for the level of skill that the tutor that's going to take this course is going to impart on you. So this offer lasts for, like I said, 24 hours. If you're interested in taking it up, please send us a text or a message to any of the numbers that are on your screen now, and we will get back in touch with you and tell you how your payments can be made. We'll work out the installment plans with you, and we'll get you on the course ready for the 8th of June. If you have any questions about that, I will take questions from you before we go on. Somebody actually asked earlier on that what qualifications do you need to go ahead and take this course? Well, I would say from experience that the question I would ask you is, can you use a computer? If you can use a computer, that's all the qualification you need, because this course will take you from bottom up, from ground up, from novice to expert. So you don't need a university qualification, you don't need a high school qualification, you don't need to be a professor, or you don't need to be a computer guru, to take this course. So again, let me go over the fees. If you indicate your interest in taking up this course today, you will get 40% off the price of the course, and you would also get the opportunity, if you cannot afford the full course, to pay in installments. But the installments will be spread, within the duration of the course. So if you don't have any, well, I'll give an opportunity. Does anybody have any questions about this? Please indicate by raising your hands. Okay. If there are no questions, send us a message to any of the numbers that you can see below. We will get back in touch with you as soon as we get your message, and we will discuss how you can pay, how we can get you registered on the course starting on the 8th of June. I'm getting messages from people saying that they're interested in joining from the class starting at on the 8th of June. Please, if you are the ones typing the message, please get the numbers, send us a message. We are on standby waiting for your message. We will get back in touch with you straight away, and we will, start making arrangements with you. Like I said, you can get in touch with us again on our social media platforms. If you follow us on social media, any of our platforms, you may just get an additional 5% discount to that 40% that we have already taken out. So, we're just a generous bunch at Generis Academy. So we're taking 40% off. If you go to our social media pages and follow us and let us know that you followed us, we may just add another 5%, making it a whopping 45% off the cost of the course. So apologies for keeping you so late on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much for attending. We hope to hear from you very soon. Personally, if I were in your position, I will not let this opportunity go amiss, because you will not, I can assure you, I mean, this is not a sales pitch. I can assure you, you will not get this opportunity, this kind of opportunity anywhere else. This is almost giving you the course for free. We know what it costs to become a good level of a full stack web developer. So get your phones out, put our numbers down and we would wait to hear from you. Those are our social media handles. We will wait for a few minutes if you, just in case you think of any questions you want to ask us now. But if there are no questions coming, we will end the webinar. So just let me know if you have any questions. Okay, if you just indicate by raising your hands, somebody will unmute you, and then you'll be able to speak and ask your question. Okay. All right. If there are no questions, please. Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions, I will say thank you very much for attending. We will make this a recording of this webinar available at some point. So if you want a recording of it, please let us know. Those are our contact details at the bottom. If you want to go to our website is www.generis.academy, and you can get as much information as you want there. If you apply through our website, please let me say that this 40% discount offer will not apply. We may give you a discount, but it will not be this 40% discount offer. This 40% discount offer is solely for attendees at this webinar. And not just for attendees, but for you, if you indicate your readiness to go on the course within the next 24 hours. So we will wait to hear from you. I thank you very much for your patience, for listening to us, and for attending. I would say at this point, have a wonderful day, have a great afternoon, and till we see you again, bye-bye.